What's up guys, Schmitty here, welcome back to another video, and as of today, Modern Warfare has officially been out for 1 week. And up to this point, I gotta be honest, I still don't have much of a desire to play the game. I'm not having really any fun with the game. I really wanted to come out of the last video I made talking about how I don't like Modern Warfare and tell you that, hey, I've really found, my stride with this game. I'm having fun, I'm learning things. It ain't happening. I'm not having fun. I legitimately don't even have a desire to even hop on this game, like I said. It's so rough right now. It's the weirdest feeling I've ever had, is that the new Call of Duty has been out within a week span. Usually it's even within a month, 2-month span, but let alone within a week span, and I don't even care to hop on the game. Like that's ridiculous. The game is just not in a fun state right now. However, as we're going to be talking about in this video, that could all change here sometime in the future. And on top of that, in the not too distant future at that. So in my last video, critiquing Modern Warfare, talking about that I just don't really like the game, I said that the game, honestly, for its best point of success, is going to need a major overhaul. And honestly, something similar to that of what World War II did, to where they just completely redefined the gameplay experience. Not, stripped it all down and started again from scratch, but made a lot of adjustments to improve the game in a lot of areas that they had gotten from fan feedback. And in that Division's overhaul update in World War II, they changed a ton of stuff. They completely changed how the entire creative class system, aka the Division system, worked. They changed around a lot of different perks and exactly what they did. They brought some new ones in, took some new ones out, adjusted sprint out times. I mean, the massive list of what they changed. And I said that something similar to that needed to happen to Modern Warfare to really see its peak success. Good news, that should be coming here sometime within the next month. So our buddy the Gaming Revolution is not done now that Modern Warfare is out. He's still been pretty active over on his Twitter, kind of leaking some stuff. We had some maps that were leaked just a couple days ago, which is all great news, but he dropped a bombshell today talking about a massive overhaul will be coming to Modern Warfare, or at least it's planned right now to be coming to Modern Warfare by the end of November. And one of the big things that this is going to include is returning to a normal classic minimap like we've seen in previous Call of Duties, which I think is music to pretty much everyone's ears, aside from the people that somehow think the current standing of the game is fun. But I think this is music to almost everyone's ears. This is exactly what people wanted. That first one, I mean, bringing the dots back to the minimap, putting a normal minimap, huge. I think that's one of the primary things that people have been asking for, and something that overall for me, I was just hoping that they weren't going to be stubborn with it. I mean, they were kind of a little bit stubborn coming into the beta. I mean, people said before they really even played the beta that, hey, we're not going to like this isn't going to work, and they were adamant that, no, just try the game without the minimap even being there at all. See how you like it. Didn't work. They added the minimap back in, didn't put the red dots on it yet. People still said, hey, we should probably add the dots to the minimap. Even after the beta coming into launch, they didn't change that. Now it looks like they're finally tired of hearing it, and they're going to be giving us that minimap with the red dots, which, thank God, I think this will be a big thing. Will help kind of neutralize some of the campers, help kind of point out exactly where things are coming from with all the, crazy map design in Modern Warfare that's not just more of a strict 3 lanes. It's got some different verticality, some different positioning around the maps. So I think having those red dots on the minimap will be a big thing, and I'm glad to see that those are going to be coming. Honestly, there's just no reason that a normal minimap shouldn't be in this game. It's never been broken in the past. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I appreciate them trying to do something new, but, I mean, we've been saying since before people even played the beta, why are you touching the minimap? So hopefully, with that change coming to the end of November, that'll be fixed. Won't have to worry about that again, and hopefully it'll make the game a lot better. I think it will. But like I said, it doesn't just stop at the minimap. There's also supposedly a big overhaul coming, which I think is great news. It's exactly what I said needed to happen, like I said in my last video. I think this game needs an overhaul. Not that the game needs to be stripped down and rebuilt, or we need to just, start from scratch on certain maps, like somehow people think that's possible, that now the game's out, we're just gonna, just retry that map, you just have it back out tomorrow. Like, try again, put the map back out tomorrow, it'll be fine. That's not gonna happen. Things like that aren't gonna work. However, I think with this overhaul that some things are pretty legitimate, and especially calling it a major overhaul. That's a direct quote. So for the rest of this video, I want to talk about what things could be possible. I think some things right out of the way that are very possible, reducing the sound of the normal footsteps. I think that's a very possible thing, not something that's going to be that difficult to do. I mean, let's be honest. Take footstep volume down a few notches. Simple as that. So I think we can definitely expect that one. I think we can expect spawn adjustments, although that's not really part of an overhaul thing. That's just kind of a part of normal patches. But something else, potential sprint out times. I think to cater more toward the people that do want to be aggressive and kind of run around a little bit more, you're going to have to buff out those sprint out times. Something we talked about back all the way a couple years ago in World War II. Once those sprint out times were adjusted, people that rushed around more did have a chance to win those gunfights more often, which is good. I'm not saying it should be like the Black Ops 4 Titan, to where it's basically just like running around with, a submachine gun that's just 30 times more lethal. It shouldn't be like that. I shouldn't be able to run around with the M91 and just, be able to, just beat out, submachine guns and shotguns up close. But I do think sprint out times need to be adjusted, just brought up a little bit. Another thing I think about when I hear major overhaul is potentially making Dead Silence a perk. This has been something that a lot of people have been asking for, especially pros. Dead Silence right now is a field upgrade, so it's kind of a limited thing. It does have a fast recharge, and honestly, if you do play your cards right, you can get this thing to last a pretty good duration, but bottom line, it's not a perk, so it's not something that's going to be lasting a good amount of the time. And it kind of is a double negative with how loud the footsteps normally are in this game right now. If the footsteps were a little bit quieter, I don't know if this would be that big of an issue. But regardless, Dead Silence has been some kind of perk in pretty much every single Call of Duty minus Advanced Warfare, because it had a similar thing to what we're seeing right now. But with it being an overhaul, I could see this being turned into a perk. I think it would just be a great thing. It really helps people that do want to run around and do want to flank, because, if people are going to choose to camp, I feel like there should be some sort of counterplay. Right now, there's no counterplay to someone who just wants to sit and sound whore. You have no way to counterplay that unless you do get the field upgrade, but like I said, it's not something that's going to last a long enough time. I don't know that they're going to change this, but when I think overhaul, I feel like that's something that's possible. In a normal patch update, not so much. Overhaul, different story. Another thing I think about when hearing overhaul, I know people want to see the maps changed, and some people, like I said, think it's just possible that they're going to strip these maps down and rebuild them again and just make them great out of nowhere. I don't think that's possible, but I do think with an overhaul, maybe, don't know that this will happen, but maybe they could kind of restrict some of the areas on the maps, especially some of the 10v10 maps, to make them more accustomed and work on 6v6. One of the biggest complaints right now is that if you want to play 6v6, there's only like 6 or 7 maps that work for it, and then there's like 4 10v10 maps, or like technically 3 10v10 maps, and then there's Anaya Palace, which is a battle royale map. All jokes aside, it's a 20v20. And then we have a ground war and gunfight maps, which are just totally different game modes. But I think what they could do is they could take some of these 10v10 maps and, even the 20v20 Anaya Palace map and put restrictions on them so that they can work in 6v6. Take Anaya Palace and cut out like a third of it on each side, and I think maybe a 6v6 map could work out of it. I'm not saying it would be the best god tier 6v6 map I've ever seen, but it would at least work for 6v6 and would give people another map option. You have things like Arklov Peak, Euphrates Bridge, Grozny Raid, which I'm not even sure anymore if it's 10v10 or 6v6. But maps like those, you could kind of restrict some of the area down to make it work better for 6v6 and just give people more options that want to play the 6v6 mode. They would at least have more maps. I'm not saying they would be the best options in the world, or that restricting them would just make the maps god tier, but at least give people more options. And I think with an overhaul, that's something that they could do, is just restrict off areas in the map. They don't have to redesign the map. They could in some areas, that'd be great, but I don't think that's going to happen. But I think they could at least restrict areas on the map. It'll make the maps playable for 6v6 and give people more options. I think that's something legitimate that they could do in this next month's time. This next one is a big stretch for me, but I want it to happen so bad. I don't think it'll happen. I'm putting this one very low on the percentage scale, but I want it to happen so bad that I'm just going to say it anyway. Time to kill. Maybe. By the grace of God, maybe they up the time to kill slightly. Maybe. I don't think that will happen, and I don't think it'll be the worst thing ever in the world if it doesn't happen. I don't think it's a huge deal. But maybe with an overhaul, they would have enough time to maybe rebalance the time to kill with some of the guns. Honestly, should not be one of the top things on their list, in my opinion, even though me not being a fan of fast time to kills, I would love to see it. Maybe. I'm just going to throw it out there because I want it to happen. But on that same token, going back to more of a realistic one, I'd like to see them, like I've talked about since the beta, reduce the headshot multiplier. It's ridiculous. It'll take guns that feel like they're pretty good time to kills and make them insta-melts. And as long as flinch is still in Call of Duty, I don't feel like headshots should be as powerful as they are in Modern Warfare. If there was no flinch in Call of Duty, different story, because then, headshots would just be strictly based on the fact that someone was able to aim there. As long as flinch is in Call of Duty, people are just going to get those off luck, and with as melty as they are in Modern Warfare, I don't like it. Hoping that's something that can be changed. And I think, again, this is a legitimate one. Changing the headshot multiplier. Something they could honestly do in a patch. So hopefully with this big overhaul, they could do that. Another quick one, character movement speed. Maybe that could get up to a little bit. Again, that's something that could have to be rebalanced potentially if they don't do it right. But maybe that's another one they could at least test out. I don't know. That's another one of those things that, like, movement speed. I mean, you can change that in a custom match. At least I think you still can. You could do that in the old games where you could, like, put yourself on, like, 200% movement speed. So I don't think that's something that out of the question. Maybe it would help speed the game up. Maybe it just won't work. I don't know. Just another one. And I think I'm just going to leave it right there. I want to hear your guys' thoughts down below in the comments on some things you would like to see. That would be fairly realistic for an overhaul. I know I kind of stretched mine by, like, let's change the time to kill because that requires so much. They would have to redo all the guns and, you know, their time to kills and stuff. So that one would be a big one. Don't say strip down the maps and restart. That's not possible. That's not happening. Change up some of the areas on certain maps. Restrict some of the maps to make them a little bit smaller. Those are potential things. Completely restructure map is not going to happen. So leave fairly realistic things down below in the comments and stuff you guys would like to see. I just want to list a few that I thought could happen, and also some ones that, like, I would want to legitimately see and I think could help improve the game. The only one we know right now, at least according to the rumor, again, this is a rumor, although I would put money on it that it would happen, but the one that we are hearing right now from this rumor is the fact that red dots will be added back to the mini-map, and it will be a normal mini-map like we've seen in previous Call of Duty, which I think is a big one, but we also have this massive overhaul with, you know, a ton of big changes, hopefully, because this game needs it. Like I said, leave those down below in the comments. Let me know your thoughts on some of the ones I listed and some of the ones you guys have of your own. But anyway, that's going to do it for today's video, guys. If you enjoyed, make sure to smack the schmidt out of the like button down below. And if you guys are new and looking forward to more video game content, you guys are in your place, hit the subscribe button down below as well. There's a video content so you guys know when those videos go live. Hopefully, you guys all have a good one. I will see you guys on another video. So long, everybody.